Hello and welcome to the Chronicles of Palace going unbeaten for a season and West Ham getting relegated. I'm Alex, Crystal Palace fan.
And I'm Tom, a West Ham sufferer.
And this is actually the Other 14 FC podcast, your podcast for everything not top six. Tired of your team being last of the match day and not getting flowers they deserve. Well, that's about to change. What do we have for listeners this week, Tom?
Definitely nothing about West Ham versus Palace. No, it was podcast Derby week. Alex's Eagles snatched Graham Potter's not-so-magic wand. Elsewhere, Leeds and Fulham blitzed to victories. The Seagulls squandered a 2-0 lead. David Moyes Anfield curse continued. And Aston Villa scored a Premier League goal.
Yeah, they too saw that one coming.
How you been, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I am so tired. Probably heard from my voice. I feel like I've been complaining about being tired of being ill the past 3 weeks, but this one was a work party in Holland followed by a weekend away at a wedding. So yeah, I am just about surviving. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I've immediately forgotten everything that I've done over the past week. Just like absolutely blanked out my mind. But I finished my Dortmund book, and now I'm starting to read 1984. I feel like I need to get review some of the classics that I haven't read in a long while. So yeah, I'm gonna do 1984 and then read Frankenstein next.
God, now you're sober, can you actually read again? Because I feel like I could read at school and then start drinking, and it all went downhill after that.
Yeah, it definitely helps the concentration levels.
Oh, Christ. Cool. Okay, let's concentrate our way into the second half and take a break now. Okay, and we're back. So, Tom, where do you want to start this weekend? I know where I want to start. And I feel like if there's any listeners that don't want to hear about the Other 14 FC derby, I'd probably fast forward about 15-20 minutes now. But if you want to listen to Tom get taking the piss out of for 20-30 minutes, you're in the right place. Should we get going right into it?
We had to start at one place, as we only come up against each other twice a season. So yeah, we're gonna start, and it was a match with, I think, a lot of intrigue coming out of it as well. West Ham 1, Palace 2. Yeah, I just want to go off for 30 minutes about the woes of West Ham. But do you want to give any should we start with a positive for Palace?
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, Tyke Mitchell turning into prime Zizou is everything we expect from him.
You wouldn't have seen it. But 5 minutes before that beautiful volley, he shanked the worst cross I've ever seen. Went out for he was obviously lined up against the box, and it just went horizontal. It was them shots that go out for throw-ins. It was that level of bad. And then 5 minutes later, Mavropanos just heads the ball to him, and it's just the best volley. And I did not expect Mitchell to have that in his bag.
No, he doesn't have that in his bag, so God knows where it came from. But one of the Palace pods I listened to was saying you concentrate more when it's on your weaker foot as well, because he apparently had one afterwards where he was on a stronger foot and he completely screwed it or skied it. So yeah, I mean, gutted I couldn't be there for that. I love going to the London. Well, I used to hate it, but I love it now because we get points. Well, we just win there every year. But from what I hear, I'll let you go into more detail on it. But from what I hear from the game, pretty mundane game. Palace probably the better team and deserve to go away with 3 points. You got your goal. Well, I mean, both the corner goals were scrappy to say the least, and dreadful defending at both. But then you had a bit of pressure on us once you got your goal, but then you just couldn't make the most of it, and we go down and have a moment of brilliance from Ty.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly was two teams in very different form, very different states of clubs, sort of things. Crystal Palace, professional, assured, they know exactly what they're going to do out there on the pitch. Even when they had to take Pino off at half time, Devaney comes on and does the same sort of job. Obviously there's a few bit tweaks to their styles of play and stuff, but they have players come in and they know exactly what they're doing. The tactics are drilled down into Palace's squad. It was just, I wasn't it's not that impressive or appealing, or it didn't take me back as it has done at other times, when they've been able to do that against bigger teams, in the FA Cup final and stuff, was more impressive. But this was just a grind out, get the 3 points, forget about the game sort of situation for Palace, really. They didn't have to do a whole lot to beat West Ham. Like as you say, Mateta gets the first from another West Ham conceding a goal at a corner, which is just like every week is like every corner, like we're just expecting the ball to go in the back of the net, and only one this week is maybe marginal improvement on that awful Tottenham game, but
It should have been two of the Lacroix one that hits the bar, doesn't it?
yeah,
Just before Bowen, just before you get the corner down the other end, and Bowen scores from that. But yeah, I'm seeing it also described as it shows one team like under Potter probably went into that game like, let's keep it tight, let's like keep clean sheet, keep possession, don't let them do anything. And we didn't really get out of first gear from what I've seen from highlights of what I've been told. Whereas you guys probably had one of your better performances under Potter, but it still results in a 2-1 loss, which isn't great all round, is it?
well, from a West Ham side of things, the first half was okay. It was like the atmosphere was really low. It was like very much a sign of like show us something like from the team, and we'll get behind you. Like and the team weren't showing us much. It just sort of went through the first half without much of note from a West Ham point of view. And then after that Lacroix header straight after half time, for about 20 minutes there, West Ham were like electric, and the support was really sort of like fully behind them. Like it was almost, it kind of felt that at half time the players just went, look, we need to play with some pride and passion, forget what Potter's saying. Almost like I can't say that for certain that they just sort of ignored the manager's tactics, but it was night and day from the first half where and previous games where they've clearly tried to stick by Potter's principles and his tactics, and it not working. Like the amount of passes between the centre backs and like the goalkeeper, and like West Ham fans don't really want to see that. Like they like, I know a lot gets made about West Ham fans wanting the West Ham way. To me, the West Ham way has always been about hard tackling, fast attacks, playing with pride and passion, and then maybe having a touch of flair in the final third, like someone like a Payet, Di Canio, someone like that can do like a little bit of magic. But majority of it's been around like honest, hard-working football, like with like just a bit of excitement, not like 60% possession where Kilman and Mavropanos have most of the touches. Like that's just not going to get West Ham fans off their feet. And as a group of fans, we can get a bit grumpy, and we can get a bit like, if you don't, if you're not I mean, says you, the grumpiest old man, going just complained about getting sick and going to sleep at work for 3 weeks.
I've never stormed my pitch and stood in the middle with a corner flag, and
mate, it's getting close to those days like of that Burnley game years ago where a fan ran onto the pitch with grabbed the corner flag and planted it in the middle of the pitch. Like
you had
the vibes around the club are feeling like that.
Yeah, you had protest pre-game, didn't you, at the ownership? Do you think if that Lacroix goal goes in right at the beginning of the second half, then half the stadium's gone, it's getting really bad? Because I think at that point, then we're putting 3 or 4 past you, in all honesty, do you think? Like, head goes down? Like, it's...
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's the way it's been. Like, we've had 3 London derbies to start off the season. That's tough, but, like, the way that we've not performed with much pride and passion, save for, like, 20 minutes in this game, and then that after those 20 minutes, you kind of got the second goal, and it was, like, a bit of a sucker punch. Like, after that, they tried, like, to get back to that level, but didn't really. But yeah, you mentioned the protest, like really sort of just wanted to highlight those that like they're a group of like the supporters clubs have put in a vote of no confidence against Sullivan and Brady. This has been long coming from West Ham fans. Like we've like Birmingham fans before the Sullivan, Brady and formerly Gold, like rest in peace. Like they like that ownership has always been not one that football fans have taken to very well. Like the big thing for us is obviously they like as we hear from away fans every week, we sold our soul for this shithole of a stadium. Like we didn't sell our soul that much we didn't have that much of an option. Like the owners were like, no, we're doing this, and we'll take the cheap route of getting renting it for 2 million a year so we don't have it as an asset, and just taking whatever, like the running track situation, being far away from the pitch, like whatever the concourse situations, like not being able to make it our own as much as we would like that. They just like accepted that because at the end of the day that's all they care about is the finances side of things, and they just don't know how to run a football club, especially in this day and age where you have like really smart clubs like Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton, etc. Like completely revamping how to run a football club, and we've just got these dinosaurs in charge who just like they were literally called the Dildo Brothers, like by the Lisbon. Nothing has been true. Like they are just like a couple of pieces of plastic that get absolutely fucked in the transfer market all the time. Like they just do all their dealings via agents, and yeah, I mean, props to everyone who went to the protest. Like I think we need to keep our foot on the pedal with this. Like I don't think sacking Graham Potter is necessarily going to change anything. I think the fans are tired and it's bigger than the manager. Whilst I don't think Potter's long for the job because the owners are under pressure now. They're going to make Potter the fall guy as well as his results haven't been good. We'll see a new manager come in. I don't necessarily expect a change in the atmosphere. Even if we went on a bit of a run, I would hope the protests would stay up because yeah, we've had our time with Sullivan, etc., and they need to go.
Yeah, I mean, when you touch on the signings, from what I've seen from the highlights, Callum Wilson looked like he was running through treacle at points in that game, and he just seems like another one of those strikers. I thought when you signed him, maybe it's okay. I just think that because he torments us every year, but it just seems like another one of those on top of the pile of shit strikers you've had for years on too much money when they're too old and not really doing it like there's a reason. They get offloaded and you seem to snap them up for shits and gigs. The main highlight, I guess, for West Ham was Somerville and Bowen like doing a bit of damage on us, but still, like if they go, if Bowen goes, you're completely fucked, aren't you? It's too reliant on him.
Bowen's not going anywhere. Even if we get relegated, Bowen will be like chained to West Ham. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, standouts for me in the game, Chris Richards looked like he had another solid one at the back. It's just, yeah, like you say, we grind out these results and got that winning mentality. Unbeaten in 17 now across all competitions. Going up against the only unbeaten team in the league next week. It is all bright and rosy to be a Palace fan right now. And yeah, it's very fun whilst I was at my wedding to be able to check the result and see that go. But then there's also one stat that I really stood out to me. Do you know how many games West Ham have won at the Taxpayer Stadium this year?
2.
In
2025. 2. Because you sent this to me the other day with your giddy little laugh going, I can't wait to bring this up on the podcast, didn't you?
You really did. I think you should have to call me Pappy if you don't win another game at the London Stadium before 2025.
You disgust me.
Mate, if we get you in the cup... Oh, we can't get you in the League Cup, actually, because you're out.
Yeah, we're out of that. Thanks for the reminder.
After Christmas, if we could finish with more wins at the London Stadium in a calendar, then it would be fucking amazing.
Mate, if we don't win again, we're getting relegated. So
yeah. I mean, you're getting relegated anyway, mate. It'll be enjoyable. Oh god. Anything else you want to touch on? I mean, I can sit here and rip into you more if you want, but I feel like it'll be feedback when you change manager, get a bump, and end up beating us and sell us later in the year.
I mean, I suppose we can talk about a couple of the decisions from Potter. Like he dropped Hermansen for Areola in this game. I thought that was quite noticeable. Like, I think that was absolutely really poorly managed from him. Like, he signed Hermansen, played him 3-4 days later against Sunderland. Like, whereas he'd played obviously had Areola throughout pre-season, and then Hermansen's had awful time at the start of West Ham, and then he drops him for Areola in this game. I just would have much preferred he stick with Areola at the start of the season, put Hermansen in for the first Carabao Cup game, see how he does. All right, it's Areola's job to lose. I think he's just really poorly mismanaged that situation from the off. Like, I know you paid a lot for Hermansen, but he's a youngish goalkeeper. Like, he's 25. Like, I don't think you were in any rush to play him immediately. Like, so, and then he took off Mateusz Fernandes at about sort of 75 minutes, which just sort of like really took the crowd. Like, he was one of sort of the driving factors of that brief like 20-minute spell, and yeah, just really prompted the crowd to start saying like, you don't know what you're doing, and you're getting sacked in the morning because James Ward-Prowse was staying on until the end of the match, and it's just like, and he brought on a defensive midfielder in Magassa for Fernandes as well. So it's just like some of these decisions that he's making, they're just smack of a manager who's running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, he hates playing against us as well. Fucking couldn't beat us when he was at Brighton. I think he may have got one up on us. No, I don't think he ever beat us when he was at Chelsea, actually. Or did he? I think that was a late penalty, actually. But yeah, fuck him. That's what I've got. That's what you get for
Anyway,
a Brighton manager.
That is what we get. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Enough of my misery. Let's go elsewhere.
Oh no, I'm enjoying it. Who would have thought? The year we start a podcast, I get to enjoy Palace being invincible.
Mate, we could have started this at any other time since we've known each other, and you would have been miserable every week.
Oh, it's going to be the best documentary ever. When I put
I'll have it on note that about a year ago, Alex told me he was Glasner out. I want that out there. I want that out there for everyone to know that you were very much like, I think Glasner should go.
No,
like, the start of last season. No, the start of last season.
I remember coming to you and being like, "What has this geezer got?" And you were like, "Oh yeah, he's good." Like from what you watched in when he was at Frankfurt, I was like, "I ain't seeing it yet," because we had a dreadful start to last season. Like,
yeah,
we had
and you were calling for him to go. Believe me, trust me. I remember being at the pub and we having this conversation because I was like, give him time. Like, he's a very good manager.
If you're gonna listen to anything that I say at the pub and take it properly, then you're a bigger fool than I fucking.
It was early in the day. I don't take anything you say after about 6 p.m. True.
That's probably when we're about 4 pints deep. Cool. Okay, let's move on to that. What do you want to go to next? Wolves Leeds. I see you got any notes.
Yeah, let's go Wolves Leeds. Leeds getting their big 3 points, and because you were out at a all weekend wedding, I've called on a couple of our friends. So we've got Ant to give his Leeds match report over their big win over Wolves.
Nice. Well, I'll slot that in right now.
Finally, some goals from open play. Get in. Great to bounce back following a late blow versus Fulham, where an away point and a clean sheet would have set a significantly different tone. Got to admit, doubt did begin to creep in, but is this where our season catches fire? Excellent to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin get off the mark. Been really impressed by his performances and general conduct, and really think he can do very well for us. After a disappointing display versus Fulham, it was also great to see Stack put in a very assured performance in midfield, and wow, what a free kick. I feel him, along with Longstaff and Ampadu, are forming a very strong midfield. Unfortunately, this may mean we have to sacrifice a little bit of creativity in Tanaka, but I think using him wisely in games where we may have more of the ball might be an effective tactic. Other than experience and stability, I wasn't too sure what we would be getting with the Longstaff signing, but now I've seen him a couple of games. His all-round contribution, his presence, it's been impressive. And I have said this before about Ampadu on this podcast, but he's the most integral cog. Leads by example, always looking to make an impact, either on the ball, positionally, winning the ball back, or just being present is a huge boost to the team. It's good to see Okafor get on the score sheet too. His decision-making can be risky in terms of where on the pitch to look to beat a man and how, and this can be quite frustrating, which he was in the first half up until he scored his goal. But I'm sick of watching wingers play safe and be afraid to take a defender on, or having that attitude to drive forward coached out of them, constantly looking to recycle the ball. Crowds love watching players go 1v1. It's really exciting, and as soon as he gets used to the Premier League, the speed of it, the sort of tactical setup of opposition, I think he'd be a really exciting player to watch. A special mention for Carl Darlow too, who's come in and looked every bit capable at this level. I think he's done enough to keep his spot, certainly for now, and has pulled off some quality saves against Fulham and over the weekend against Wolves. I would have snapped your hand off at the start of the season for the results that we've recorded so far, so let's hope now we've broken our open play goal scoring duck, we can push on. MOT.
Nice, cheers for that, Ant. And yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant insight to have from the game. Like you said, making up for me not being there, but I have watched like extended highlights and match a day for most of these games now, so I could go to some of my bullshit views on it at least. But yeah, from what I've seen, it seemed like Leeds just took this game away from Wolves in the space of, was it 9-10 minutes? Like, yeah, it's an unbelievable thing to see, and like I say, breaking their, like Anne said, breaking their duck in scoring goal in open play. It's a completely different thing that we expect to see from Leeds, with Wolves being in games so much like this season. Even if they haven't got their first points, it just seems like this is the first one they had the game properly taken away from them just after Victor Pereira's signed a new contract as well. So it's a bit worrying, isn't it? I guess for Wolves fans, if we start with Wolves and then move on to more league stuff.
Yeah, we can start with Wolves. Yeah, as you said, Pereira's been given a new 3-year contract last week. It's reached 0 points from 5 games, and there were some boos at full time, which like is a weird situation to be in. It's completely opposite to West Ham's, where like Potter's not getting a new contract anytime soon. So,
But do you think it's more refreshing seeing that? Like, yeah, because their reasoning is they want stability around the club. Do you think it's fair to back a manager after these losing 5 games because of how well he did last season and there was good vibes around the club? Or do you think the way, I don't want to say football fans are fickle, but the way the media is very fickle about it, do you think it's just
football fans can be pretty fickle too, but the media is very much like gunning for jobs, and that has definitely played a part in this like world that we live in where managers don't get time. I mean, with the Pereira situation, it's weird. I've sort of blown either way. Like I've gone like hot and cold on him as a manager. Like since he's come in, he had that excellent spell, but then if you took that spell out, the results aren't there at all. Like it's weird that a manager has not had like that. Has been like was like sort of like quite low, really really high, and then obviously the start has been really really low. But I do think the main thing I would call out is they just didn't sign anyone with Premier League experience this summer, and they lost key players in Mateus Cunha and Ray Nori. Like they just like, and then they brought in a load of like players from foreign leagues, and it's just going to take them time. Like unfortunately, when you do that, they're not all going to hit the ground running. Like they've had good they've had good spells. Like Rodrigo Gomes has looked exciting, but hasn't like got the returns that you would want.
Armand Strand's been out for the beginning of the season as well. So yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I think it's refreshing that he's been given a new contract, but yeah, I mean, it's the first time where I'm there like I'm whining a bit for Wolves now, especially because they become the 6th team to lose their first 5 games. If I give you a little quiz, do you reckon you can name a few of them?
No, but I'm sure West Ham is on that list.
You know what? Surprisingly, not for once. Do you know who is on that list?
We would have come very close under Avram Grant, but Ronald de Boers.
Frank de Boer, isn't it?
Frank de Boer.
Yeah, we're number 1 on that list, joint with Portsmouth with 7 games with no wins. We had no wins and no goals in that time, which was even fucking better.
Why weren't we doing the podcast then?
Why weren't we, mate? It would have been brilliant. I was travelling the world at that point, I was literally getting abuse from different people in different countries.
You were running away. You were running away from South London.
Palace shirt everywhere, and it was like you'd meet someone in Hong Kong, and they'd be like, "Palace fan, you're really bad." I was like, "Great." Next place, Japan, you're really bad. Australia, they're like, "You're fucking useless, cunt." And I was like, "Great, this is what it is."
Wolves fans, let's hope it doesn't get that bad for you, because otherwise that 3-year contract for Pereira is going to look a little bit risky.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Leeds and let's pick apart a lot of what Anne said, because there was a lot of good stuff in there from him. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with any individual player's performance?
I mean, there's quite a few to call out. Like obviously, each of the goal scorers, a day of firsts for Leeds. Like Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets his first goal for Leeds. I was a bit unsure of that signing when they made it, just based off his like injury history and like as a newly promoted team, like trying to sort of like risk it. But I think it's been a fairly like decent like wage and that, and I think it started off quite well.
Yeah. Do you think there's like a bit of media hate on him for some reason? I don't know why I'm feeling this when I see it. I feel like I don't know if there's like socials and shit are just trying to be like, oh, he's left Everton, he's not that great. Like, I feel like there's always been a bit of a monkey on Calvert-Lewin's back for some reason. I don't know why. Do you get that?
I think sometimes with players who don't fulfill their potential, is that there can be that kind of like atmosphere to them, like in sort of some of the media reporting, some of the like the fan like voice opinions and stuff that can be like, rather than he's just like a good Premier League player, but he showed times where it was like, oh, he could be a great number 9, like he could lead the line for England and stuff, and I don't think he's quite fulfilled that potential, but he's still a really good Premier League standard player, and like for Leeds that's exactly what they needed. Like they had Pirro, they've signed Nemecha. Both of those I have question marks over whether they can lead the line for 38 games in a Premier League season, whereas we know if he stays fit, Calvert-Lewin can do that, and he'll probably get you 9, 10 goals, maybe.
Well,
Like,
honestly, that's the thing. Like, it's a good finish with the header.
he's not
Like,
going to score 20, but he'll get you 9, 10, and if that gets you like 4 or 5 wins during the season for Leeds, that's like half the way they need to stay up, sort of thing. So
yeah,
I think I think it's a good signing. Like, I wasn't sure, but it seemed like from the early sort of signs of it, I think it's settled in pretty well. And as Ant says, I think they're taken to Calvert-Lewin in white. But yeah, other than him, sorry, did you wanna?
yeah. I was going to say, I feel like he's one that's going to become a cult hero at your club for you, isn't he? Because he's always going to try, and he's going to have flashes that are brilliant. But I mean, I feel like we can move on to another Leeds player who put a well, really changed the game. I think Stack's free kick kind of just shell shocks Wolves by firstly how good it is, but then how do you recover after that? And yeah, it was just top bins to say the least. I think Match of the Day said, was it Sarr? I think was in goal for Wolves. Should have done better with it. I think that's
Well, I
sometimes.
thought that a
Do you think
little
that?
bit.
Nah.
Like, I thought it was such a good, like, it was obviously postage stamp, like, really, really nice free kick from Anton Stack. But I do think that Sarr should have that side covered. Like, the wall is to the other side. It is where Sarr is standing. So,
I
like,
think the pace of it, like the pace of it coming in from that far, you've got to be ready and knowing it's going to go there to get it. I think.
I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't look like he takes a big step like one side, like Wayne Hennessy did all those years ago against West Ham and Dimitri Payet's free kick.
That's the.
Just
I
gonna
think always
relive
think
that.
Hennessy should be saving that one because if he just fucking stood on his side and put his arm up, the whole point.
But it's very similar, I think. Like, I think it is it is close to that. But I do think I don't think it's a definite that like it's not an egregious mistake from Sarr. But I do think like you would hope that your goalkeeper would save that based off the fact that it's on his side. But at the end of the day, it is like right in the top corner. And I think this was like a crowning moment for Anton Stack. Like, he's someone that I thought, I didn't have him in my top 5 transfers, but it was someone when he signed that I thought if he hits, that could be a really, really good signing for Leeds. Like, one of the best like Premier League signings there could be, because he's shown quality throughout his years with Hoffenheim and in sort of the Germany setup and stuff. And I just wanted to see if he would like transfer over to the Premier League. And in this game in particular, he was excellent. Like, he was all over it. Wins the ball for the third goal to set up Okafor as well. Like, he was just sort of tenacious and really bossed the midfield alongside, as Ant said, Ampadu and Longstaff. Like, that as a midfield three is proper solid. Like, I think like they might not necessarily have their best days of creation. I think they might rely on the forwards to do a lot of that in a lot of games. But
if your forwards are actually like running at players, like Ant said, which we do want to see. I'm sick of higher teams like just wanting to retain the ball and taking that flair away from them. If they have the solid base to allow the front three to go do that, then yeah, I mean, it's a well set up team from Leeds, and I'm happy we've had some time to actually talk about them, because I feel like the results haven't really given us that opportunity in the first 5 games. So yeah, it kind of worked out well this week for us.
Well, yeah, as Ant said, like, he would have snatched your hands off if you'd offered him this amount of points after 5 games. And I know we had a conversation like a week or two ago about whether like they had done enough, and it was like, all right, we'll just give him some more time. It's still early in the season, and I think in this game they really took it to Wolves, a Wolves team who would have been desperate to get 3 points or at least a point just to get off the mat, sort of thing. And in this game, like, if we flip it back to Wolves a little bit, I just want to talk about Krejci a little, because he was someone that I wasn't really that aware of, but I did some digging after, and he played in midfield for this one. He started the game really well. Like, had a really nice run from midfield, arrived late and got the goal to start Wolves off on a really good foot. But then
it was a nice goal, wasn't it? It was like a hot knife through butter, the passing for it.
Yeah, really. And then he gives away the foul on Calvert-Lewin that leads to Stack's free kick.
Was it a foul?
I think so.
Was it Calvert-Lewin being very clever?
Oh yeah, for sure. But like, Krejci's made him like he's committed the foul. It's light. It's smart from Calvert-Lewin, but it's a foul. But then I also realized when I was doing my digging, like, he played with Girona last year, and he played it more often as a centre back rather than a midfielder. And I don't know, call me old school, but I'm a bit funny about centre backs playing in midfield. Like, doesn't especially when they're later in their career. Like, he's in his mid-20s. Like, I don't necessarily feel like it's the best use of a player's skill set. Obviously, you take it on case by case basis, but I don't know if I see that with Krejci, like sort of in the sort of number 6 role. I feel like he's going to make more mistakes, like he did for the free kick.
No, that's fair. I mean, does Victor Pereira know his best team yet? And has he had the players like at his disposal to play his best team? Is he maybe overthinking it a bit with what he has? Or, like you even said, he just maybe doesn't have enough firepower anywhere on the pitch at the moment, and that's why we've seen Wolves go 5 games without a win.
Yeah, I mean, they showed last season that if they can put a streak together, so, you know, it might take that one result and then they turn things around, but it could also be a tough time for Wolves going forward if they can't get those first points on the board. So, yeah.
I agree with you. I got one player I wanted to touch on. I think Caldalo had a very, very good game. Like, did well to keep the 2-goal lead there for Leeds throughout, and also I like that it shits on your prediction of Lucas Perry, which is fantastic for me. After you giving it the big and like, nah, Darlow's not up to it, Perry's going to do it. And me being like, I'm certain he's not a Premier League quality keeper after being on Palace's third choice for
they kept clean sheets under Perry with Perry in goal. They didn't keep a clean sheet in this one, so you know. Ant said it as well. Like, I mean, I'll hold out for a team that have shown a bit more attacking nuance than Wolves have so far this season, and see if we're still saying the same things about Carl Darlow.
No, we will be, mate. Because I know. Okay, cool. Where do you want to move on to next then?
Let's go to another friend of the podcast. We've got Fulham 3, Brentford 1, and we have Hugo from Fulham Fan TV.
Cool. Let's slot that in now.
When it comes to Fulham versus Brentford that happened on Saturday, I feel like that was the best performance from Fulham I've seen all season so far. The game should have been 4-1, so more goals being included in the game. And I'll talk about the disallowed goal soon. But when it comes to Fulham, I feel as though that fighting spirit has been reinstalled into the club with Marco Silva. I think there are still plenty of areas to fix up on. However, I really like the Fulham team that I'm seeing at the moment, and I'm actually excited for the season ahead. I think mid-table is where we'll finish, aspiring for a Conference League finish, but I think mid-table is the most realistic outcome. Now, talking about the game specifically, best performances, I want to talk about Alex Iwobi. Kevin's come in, he's a record signing. However, you'd think that he'd be threatening Alex Iwobi's starting position. And I genuinely think that Alex Iwobi should be kept in the team. However, I do think Kevin also needs to play. Alex Iwobi was so integral in the game with his through balls, his passing, and just his overall attacking play, moving the team forward. I think playing Kevin on the left wing and then having Iwobi, King and Emile Smith-Rowe rotate for the cam role in different games would be so helpful for Fulham. And I genuinely think that if we did that, we would be able to conquer different games, bring other people off the bench who would make huge impact. Because as we know, Fulham have a crazy impact off the bench. 17 goals last season off the bench. It's a Premier League record set by Fulham. So I genuinely think that Fulham need to be able to move Iwobi to the middle, because he is getting a bit too old for the wing, but he's so important to the game. If you look at his clean pass to Wilson, absolute class. When it comes to the rest of it, I want to talk about the disallowed goal. That goal being disallowed was very silly. I feel like football's been heavily sanitised, and Rodrigo Muniz's game is to be very physical. The fact that in the Chelsea game he had accidentally trotted on Chalobah's foot and that disallowed the goal really pissed me off. Same with this one. Collins absolutely pulled Muniz back, leading to Muniz accidentally elbowing Collins in the mouth. But if you look at the physicality of Muniz, that is basically what he's being punished for. Football is a physical game. There's going to be a lot of physicality in certain players' games, and that's Muniz's strength. And I think that giving us that goal would have given Muniz more confidence to say, oh, I can score goals, contribute to Fulham's attack. But look, we move on. He's got an assist from that game, and I'm so happy with the win. West London derby is a huge win against Brentford. Come on, Fulham.
Nice. Cheers for that, Hugo. So yeah, Tom, where do you want to start with that? Can we maybe start with the disallowed goal to get it over with quite quickly? I just think that the disallowed goal is an absolute strike from Munoz, but I also think it's just an opportunity for VAR to just be like, okay, we'll give you that. It doesn't really matter because they're already 3-1 up at that point, aren't they? And it's almost like sorry, we'll give you that for the stupid ones we didn't give you at Chelsea. Like, is that not just common sense that could have come through in football for once?
I mean, I don't necessarily hate it being disallowed. Like, I do completely agree with Hugo that like football is being over sanitized and it's a physical game, but you've drawn blood like with a flailing arm into Colin's face. He then is taken out of the game. Like, he can't make a tackle to get the ball. So by that action, you've taken a defender out of the game, and then you go on and score. Like, I agree. Like, that is frustrating. I think where that Fulham fans are coming from a place where they got that one from Muniz taken away for his supposed foul on Chalobah at Chelsea a few weeks ago. I can see why the frustration is there, but I don't know. I mean, I can kind of understand why this one was taken away, and as you say, it didn't have a material like effect to the game. With it would have been the fourth goal. Like, it's kind of an easy one to chalk off and just move on from, in my opinion.
Nah, I don't agree with you on that one, man. I just think, I think just give it to Fulham, let them move on. But anyway, I guess it doesn't really matter in the long and short of it. I mean, I want to touch on Wilson's goal because once again in a West London derby and once again against Brentford, he scored an absolute beauty of a goal, I think.
Yeah, Harry Wilson just loves playing Brentford, man. Like, I'm sure he wants to play them every week. Like, again, really nice goal. I think Fulham deserved the win in this one. Like, they were sort of the more professional, the better team. They had the better chances. I think like there's a number of good players to call out, but I think, as Hugo says, Alex Iwobi deserves some flowers. He played on the left wing in this one. Kevin's obviously coming for big money. We were glowing about his debut last week.
Just fully expected him to start, don't you? And then when he wasn't, and then it just, I mean, you always need two good players in every position. And if that's going to be the thing that makes Alex Iwobi go from hot and cold game to game to consistently good per game, or as Hugo says, maybe playing him in a role where he's not on the wing, where maybe he's orchestrating more and not having to use his pace as much. Who knows? That might be an absolute brilliant sign-in for Fulham. And then Hugo basically outlining the options they have. Do you think Fulham maybe have more of that X factor that they were missing last season?
100%. I think the signing of Kevin has really elevated what we expect from Fulham now, where they can be challenging for one of those European spots. Like, they've got they've got really good level of talent throughout the squad. And I completely agree with Hugo with putting Iwobi as more of one of sort of the attacking midfielders. And when you want to bring Kevin in, if you're maybe want to dominate the midfield a little bit more. But they've got options now which they looked a little light on in the summer before the signing of Kevin. They've got good options up top. Like, I think that Harry Wilson getting back into form would be really good for them. Young Josh King, I think he had a bad game in this one. Like, obviously there's the poor pass that tees up Damsgaard, and then he had an awful dive later in the half, and so deserved a yellow card for it. But he's looked good so far this season. I'm all right to just chalk this up as a bad game from a young player. Like, you just sort of go, all right,
all you
just
can
move
do,
on.
really, isn't it? Like, he apparently had quite a few missed passes to begin the game. So when you put one straight to Damsgaard, who came back in for Brentford, had their best moment probably in the game. I think King's just got to put that one behind him, really, hasn't he? I mean, from a Brentford point of view, that was pretty bum defending for Fulham's first goal, wasn't it?
I mean, for all three of them, I have my one note for Brentford is clear your lines. Like, the first goal is just a mess, just chaos. Yeah, just chaos in the box. Like, you didn't clear your lines. The second goal is more in midfield, but you didn't clear your lines. You got exposed. Like, they don't clear the ball, they don't get their foot on the ball, and they got exposed behind. And then the third goal, Pinnock heads it in himself. Like, I don't know. I want to ask you the question of whether you think that Pinnock's own goal was better than Goodmanson's own goal last week.
No,
and Fulham were the beneficiaries of both. So
it wasn't as good, but it almost happens in the same way, doesn't it? Because he's unsighted, I think, by Collins in front of him, and then he's got two. He can't like sort himself out quick enough. But yeah, it also the way it just loops the keeper as well. It's crazy that Fulham fans have been like treated to two of the craziest own goals you see in the space of 2 weeks, both at Craven Cottage. Fucking mad stuff.
But yeah, that's all I've got for Brentford is just, man, clear your lines, and it's not what I expect to see from them. Like, they're like so good at like defensive football and keeping like clean sheets and stuff. So yeah, just expect better from that. And maybe as the West London derby, they lost a bit of their defensive nous, but yeah, I think Fulham were worth the win in this one.
Yeah, 100%. I think just like Wolves. Just like Leeds did against Wolves. I think they were just blown away by Fulham at one point in the game and then just couldn't really recover from it. So yeah, what game do you want to move on to next?
Well, we've got a whole host of draws now. Let's go Brighton squandering a 2-0 lead to draw 2-2 with Tottenham. Yeah, Brighton squandering a 2-0 lead against Tottenham, ending 2-2. I think they started well, but Brighton, their defensive struggles continue. I think they were kind of lucky to be sort of kept in, like they didn't lose this one, despite being in such a good position at 2-0 up. Like, yeah, Van Heck has just had a horrible own goal. It's a horrible position for a defender to be put into, facing your own goal, like that awkward place where a cross comes in and it's just sort of like just ricochet off you and it's past your goalkeeper sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know about Brighton, man. I've been backing them to sort of like overcome this early season struggles, but the more that they continue, like you wouldn't expect them to be 2-0 up and lose the victory from there, and like you would think they have more about them than that.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm going to sound like a Palace fan talking about, but I've been saying from the beginning a bit like there's something not quite right there. You don't think like they're not miles off it, but I don't know if it's just not enough experience from the coach there, or just the players not really just not making good decisions. Lewis Dunk still being in the team, amazed it wasn't him that scored the own goal. It's all those things adding up. Like, once they went 2-0 up, you fully expect them to just be able to hold that no matter what. Like, especially against Spurs. Like, Spurs have been a bit hot and cold this season as well. Like, they were playing a high line for the first goal against Brighton, which is like probably one of the stupidest things you can do. Do you agree?
Yeah, Yankuba Minteh continued a strong start to the season with the first goal. Like, yeah, Tottenham are absolutely begging for that goal to be conceded. With just baiting Minteh on to expose that high line.
Let's go around the keeper of ease. Second goal, my notes are what the fuck happened with the second goal? Was it bad keeping from Vicario, or was it the knuckleball just so hard in it that it completely?
I think the keeper's got to save it. Like, Ayari was asked after the game if that was one of his best goals, and he just really flatly went no, because I think he expected the goalkeeper to save it. Like, he's just like, as you say, he's knuckleballed it, and it's kind of just like the swerve is taking it past the keeper, but it was far enough out that you would expect that the keeper should have had that.
Yeah, you'd think that all day long, but I just don't know what's missing from Brighton, really. I mean, as a Palace fan, I'm happy for it to go on, but it's a weird one, because I think we said we expected this to be a game that they'll go win. They've got Chelsea away next in the league. That's probably one that they'll end up winning, won't they? And then they'll kickstart the season probably from that. But I wouldn't be wide as a Brighton fan, but I just wouldn't be excited by the season so far at all, would you?
Yeah, I definitely think they've got things to fix. That's the main thing. Like, I think I would chalk this just down to early season struggles. I don't think there's any need for any like panic stations. I think they just need to get on the training pitch and figure some things out, specifically defensively, because I think they've been all right in attack so far this season. It's just sort of ironing out those defensive issues, and yeah, I think the good results will come. Like, they've had a couple of good results so far this season. Obviously, the Man City win being the big one, but yeah, I think they just need to build from a bit more of a solid basis and stop making a few of these sort of like sillier mistakes as they have done over recent weeks. But I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, they'll definitely be all right. It's just like, what more are they going to get out of it? But cool. Where do you want to move on to next then? Sunderland Villa, do you think?
Let's do it. Hit the play button.
Fucking love it. It took us too long to get to the Lord of the Rings reference. For anyone that isn't aware, Tom has a Lord of the Rings tattoo. Where's it? It's on your bicep, isn't it?
Yeah, on my left arm, I've got the One Ring script and the Elvish for the number 9. And ever since Wilson Isidore came into my life, I've just been every time I see that he scores a goal, my mind has just been going Isildur
Mate,
because I'm a nerd.
mate, let's not stray into Lord of the Rings tattoos too much, but my next Palace tattoo I want to be Sauron wearing a Palace shirt. I do not know why, but I just think it'll be fucking sick. Yeah. Okay, let's get
Jesus,
into
like going on your other arse cheek.
No, that's there for the Conference League, mate. Okay, where should we start with this? Should we start with the red card, do you think, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it happened in the first half. I feel like we just have to. Like, I think it's just really silly from Reynildo. Like, I couldn't even blame Sam Barrett for this one.
I wanted to blame Sam Barrett. I only because I watched, like I said, watched extended highlights and match a day. I was there, like, lost control of this game from the highlights I've seen. It's clear that Sam Barrett has lost control. But yeah, you can't say no to that red card, really, can you? It's so fucking. It's just a kick in the nuts. And if
It's
my player
funny.
did that, then I'd accept it.
Yeah, it's funny because like I think Sunderland played a real physical game in this one. Like they battered and bruised Villa, but this wasn't actually part of the physicality. This was just a silly mental decision from Reynildo to kick out. But yeah, there were so many tackles where Sunderland were just like proper going into them, and like that's something that they really took. Like they took the ball by the horns in this game of just being like, no, we're not going to let you play like around us, play like how you want to play. Like we're going to demand like that you come down to sort of our level. Like we're going to make this a real physical game. Like we're going to beat you in this style. Like it was clearly a tactic that they wanted to employ because I think it was up from previous weeks of their physicality. Like they decided that that's how they were gonna what they wanted to do to attack this Villa team, and it had Villa on the back foot throughout a lot of this game.
Yeah, they really did. Like, and Roof's had another good game, but do you think he makes a mistake for the Matty Cash goal?
I don't think it's that bad. Like, I think it's sort of coming through a group of bodies. Like, I think you would want your keeper to do better, but with those, like, sometimes it's hard to tell. I think there's been a few of those this season where they've just sort of like it's come through a group of bodies. Like, Cash has hit it pretty hard. It's probably taken a little deflection on the way, sort of thing, and it's like, all right, it's those are hard ones to save.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. Villa again, first goal of season, long time coming. I mean, they still couldn't beat a team, well, newly promoted team with 10 men. It's got to be worrisome
No.
there for Villa. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you would have had good odds on Matty Cash being the one to break Villa's goal drought in the Premier League. Like, I know Harvey Elliott got a goal against Brentford in the EFL Cup. Like, just on Harvey Elliott, take back what I said about the signing. He's wearing number 9. It just feels completely wrong.
mate, watch, Santo's going to be really good. I don't think he's got on the pitch at all yet, but yeah, he's going to be really good. We both had a bit of a blunder with that one, didn't we?
Well, I mean, from a Villa side of things, it's interesting. I saw today that Monchi is leaving the club. Like, that's like obviously Emery's right-hand man. They've been at multiple stops together. Like, he's obviously been behind a lot of Villa's transfer dealings since he joined the club a couple of years ago. But I do think maybe I was completely wrong on Villa, and they didn't regroup very well over the summer. Like the players, the way that they do dealings, and like they let players come and go so much. Maybe it's taken its toll, and they just haven't been able to like refactor the squad well enough for this season, because Watkins looks like he's really struggling out there. Daniel Marlon comes on for the last 30 minutes of every game and flatters to deceive. Like, he should have had a goal in this one that I think at the time would have taken it to 2-0, and it's like you need to be putting that away when you're struggling like Villa are in front of goal. You need that. But I've watched him do that many a time for Dortmund, running through and not put it in the back of the net. So it didn't surprise me at all. And then I mean, from a Sunderland side of things, like, I think this is just a good solid point when you consider the situation they were in after Reynildo goes down. Like, and I honestly think they could have won the game. Like, they still were having chances. It's almost like the red card almost like buoyed them
galvanised
after that. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. It's a great assist from Xhaka, isn't it, to put into Isildur? But yeah, they definitely had the chances to go on to win it. That's what makes you worry for Villa even more a bit. But yeah, Sunderland making the Stadium Light a fortress. If they just don't lose, like we said at the beginning of the season, if you're a promoted team, you just don't lose your home games. That's your 30 points to stay up, really, isn't it? 30 points. What am I talking about? But yeah,
Often it is only around 30 that you need, but yeah.
Yeah, that's hopefully going to be it for it. And also, just want to shout out the Cancer Has No Colours campaign at the Stadium Light that day. I think what what Lil Bradley did, that can't really be forgotten. I know it was very much in the Peak Barclays era. I think about that, but yeah, it's good to know that campaign's still going. And if anyone out there is able to donate, it's for such a good cause.
Yeah, completely back up what you're saying. It was really amazing tifo at the start of the game, amazing sentiment from Sunderland fans. I know they've carried that on throughout the years since that story sort of came to prominence, and really, really nice touch.
Nice. Anything else you want to touch on the game at all? I think there's not too much to say about the draws, and even in the next draw we have. I don't think we have too much to talk about really in it, do we?
Yeah, let's go to the next draw. Burnley, another promoted team, getting a draw. Burnley 1-1 versus Forest. This one...
copy and paste a lot of what we said without a red card for this game as well. It was a bit mean, but yeah, I mean, strong performance from a newly promoted team at home. Forest, to me, still don't really understand why they've completely firebombed their own season a bit by getting rid of Nuno. It's one of those things where you're looking at it, it's kind of a good result for both sides, when at the beginning of the season you'd be looking at this this is a must-win not a must-win, but an easy 3 points for Forest. But now you're thinking, if them going to Burnley and getting a point is quite good with how bad they've been, especially with going out to Swansea in midweek in the Cup. It's just all a bit...
Yeah, bouncing back for Forest from that heartbreaking 3-2 defeat in the last couple of minutes against Swansea. They needed to put something on the board in this one, and it's
to stop the rot, isn't it? It's crazy to say that after 2 games, but it is literally the way... This is one of the only times where I probably agree with the media, getting on Ange's back straight away. It just seems like a weird.
Well, it all just felt so unnecessary, and then it's all right, if you're going to come in, he's got to come in and he's got to get them firing straight up, because they've spent a lot of money, they have a good squad, they proved last season that they can finish in the top half of the table, they're in Europe, he's got to get things going quickly, otherwise a lot of the fans won't be on his side, because a lot of them will still be loyal to Nuno kind of thing, they didn't want him to come in, so getting this point away at Burnley, I think Forest fans would take it. I think they're all right. I think we've seen this season already that the promoted teams aren't just making up the numbers. So actually getting a point at Turf Moor on a horrible, horrible day in a game that was proper 50-50, every highlight was one end of the pitch. It was just going back and forth like a sort of ping pong match. It was I think a complete one. I think both managers said it after full time, it was a draw. I think Ange tried to take some credit and say that Forest were slightly better, but Scott Parker was honest and nailed it and said no, a point was deserved from each team.
It's definitely a draw, worth a point all, mate. Let's just say that. Let's say that, leave that. Actually, I want to touch on Dubrovnik quickly, because Dubrovnik, Jesus Christ, it's not a city in Croatia. Dubravka, had some good, strong saves at the end, and the Zinchenko should be a Zinchenko own goal, because it looked like an own goal more than anything's ever looked like an own goal before. But if Anthony gets to go, happy days for him. Cool. Should we move on to one of our losses to a top 6 team for our other 14 teams?
Yeah, the David Moyes curse continued. Everton.
I wanted to check this with you. He can't beat a top 6 side, can he? You had this before.
He generally can't beat a top 6 side, but he's also never won at Anfield in 21 games.
Oh, mate, I can't
remember the stat exactly, but and then the next longest run of not winning at a stadium is David Moyes at Stamford Bridge. His record against top 6 teams is terrible. And it's it was one of the reasons why we weren't taking to him at the end of his time, because we weren't just losing those games, we were getting battered. Like, we lost 5-0 to Everton, to Liverpool, lost 6-0 to Arsenal, like we lost 5-1 to Chelsea. Like, we were getting battered in those games by the end of David Moyes' tenure, and Everton weren't battered in this game at all.
Not at all.
But they were played off the park in the first 35 minutes. Like, they just could not get out of their box. Like, I watched this one live before I headed to the West Ham match, and it was just like, oh God, like, I don't think Everton are gonna. This could have been anything in the first 35 minutes. They were just absolutely penned back, could not get out of their own box.
That was it. I think when the first goal you see go in so early, you're expecting, that's probably game over. Then the second one comes, you're like, oh, it is game over. But you got to give Everton some props to be able to stay in the game, get a goal, nearly get an equaliser, I guess, throughout a couple of chances. Well,
they just played better after they went 2-0 down. It was weird. Like, the shackles were off, and they were like, all right, well, no one expects us to get a result now. So, but it's like, all right, well, maybe if you'd have played like that at the start, rather than just trying to sit back and getting losing possession of the ball all the time, if you'd have played with the confidence that you had been playing with in the early part of the season, maybe this could have been a different result. But they are going up against, obviously, a team unbeaten who haven't dropped a point so far this season, so it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, they showed that they could. Yeah, they showed they could still be a threat. That's the main thing. Do you think Everton? We'll probably touch on this more as the season goes on, but maybe just put a feeler out there. Do you think Everton's back four are actually strong enough? Because I don't think they are. I don't think that back one is.
I think you're missing Branthwaite massively.
Yeah, who is it? It's Jake Bryan at right back, Mikolenko at left back, and then Tarkowski and Michael Keane. That's. Yeah. I mean, they're much better than me at football, but also it's just a bit like. That wouldn't fill me with hope if I was an Everton fan, especially when it's juxtaposed, long word alert there, to their front line, which their front line is like fucking diamonds, and their back line is like fucking chalk.
Well, I think they needed so many players this summer that they couldn't fix everything in one off season. Like, they were going to have, there was just going to be some carryover, and I think Everton fans would have loved to have improved on Michael Keane and possibly James Tarkowski. And when you have a player of Branthwaite's quality, you kind of he elevates the players next to him. So if you have him playing with one of them, it's not as bad. But when you have both of them playing, it's like, we're actually going to struggle because these are two very technically limited defenders. And with Moyes, he doesn't ask his defenders to do a lot of on the ball stuff, but you are still going to have times of being on the ball, like the way that football is played now, where centre backs have a lot more possession than they once did. You need one of your centre backs to be a little bit better on the ball, and that's why it works with Branthwaite. When it doesn't work, when he's not there, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think it's that, and I think they just get pulled apart too easily, and they've not got the counter pace. No, the recovery pace to make up for being out of position, and that's where I think a lot of teams might start being able to pick them apart in that way. But I mean, if you're trying to pick them apart there, you're going to always leave yourself vulnerable at the back. But yeah, I don't think this is a game to really judge Everton on too much. I think they had a real good showing in the Merseyside derby. So there,
last couple of things. Yeah, I'll get onto that. I just want to say before that, I have to give credit to Ilman Ndiaye for the assist for the Gaze goal, because
that was a good one, wasn't it?
99 out of 100 players are shooting when that ball comes over, and he just tees it up perfectly for Gay, who's in better space, got better angle at goal. That is just absolute football IQ, on 11. He's just playing at such a top level, that majority of players would have absolutely shanked that shot, and it would have gone into Rose Ed off the cop. But yeah, and then lastly, I think you were just going to touch on it, the stupid yellow that the ref gave for Dewsbury Hall taking a quick free kick, and Jack Grealish was just absolutely apoplexed after the game. Just
love
couldn't
that.
believe
The
it.
most un-media trained interview I've heard in ages. I was like, I live for this. Just why do you do it? I don't get it.
He's not going to shag you, mate.
Mate, one day. But no, I just love seeing fucking real people in those positions, talking real things as well. And yeah, I've got a proper love for him this season. Okay, if we manage to get through that without too many technical difficulties, listeners, because we've had a bit of problem with Virgin Media both our ends. Hopefully it's not too bad. It'll be sorted in the edit. But otherwise, we're going to take a break and then move on to Peak Barclays for you. Okay, and we're back. So yeah, as probably no one noticed, we sacked off 0-0 corner this week because the game was that dull. And if you want to talk about it, Tom, you can talk about it, but I will talk over you.
Bournemouth 0-0, Newcastle,
No,
two really even teams.
Peak Barclays.
Nothing happened in the final third. Let's move on.
Oh, God. Cool. Peak Barclays, where we're just... I don't even think we're going to talk any stats, any highlights, any memorable moments. I think we're just going to argue over how Marouane Chamakh is the best player that's ever played in the Premier League.
Rubbish. Garbage.
Palace
Bin
legend.
man.
Absolute Palace legend.
Absolute wanker.
We had to talk about him. Obviously, got the West Ham Palace connection. So, listeners, you had the choice of Marouane Chamakh, James Tompkins. Who else is on the list?
Could have had Danny Gabardon, could have had Hayden Mullins, players who actually made an impact at both teams. But no, Alex wanted to treat us to Marouane Chamakh, who played 3 matches for West Ham, all of them in January of 2013 after arriving on loan from Arsenal. He scored a collective 0 goals because the man is trash and doesn't know where the back of the net is. And he has an awful greasy barnet.
Mate, are you really...
And Alex is now just sat in the dark.
Are you really slagging off someone's hair? Is that happening? Right?
I am.
We do not have...
My bald head slagging off his awful greasy barnet.
We should not be mentioning or having a go at anyone's hair on this podcast.
Mate, look at Marouane Chamakh's head of hair and tell me that is not an awful hair
Mate,
style.
that is exactly what I dreamt of at uni when I had my mullet. But
I can imagine.
We had a game at uni that if someone scored a header against you with Chamakh on FIFA, you'd have to go out on Thursday night with gelled out hair just like his. And thank God it never happened to me. But no, Owen Touch had 60 games for Palace, 7 goals, one of them coming in a 1-0 win in our first season back up against West Ham at Selhurst Park. It was a glorious night, and yeah...
Alex will tell you that this guy is a Palace legend, because Palace have no legends.
Like, he's a Palace legend from that season, because without him and Tony...
Well, he scored like 5 goals.
Yeah, but he scored 5 goals and 1-0 wins. It's like that and Punch kept us up that season with Tony Pulis in charge, because we only had a winner game 1-0. That is literally...
We should relegate you for calling Chamakh a Palace legend. Dissolve the club if that is someone being even spoken about.
You're just jealous of his hair. You're jealous of his scoring ability for us. It's so fried in your tone.
Trash, absolute trash, awful Arsenal reject. Mate,
he had to come to South London to reach his true potential, and then he failed in North and West London because they're not as good as South London. Let's have it like that. God, we're gonna get so much hate if anyone's even bothered.
So he's going bottom of the list because he is trash.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even gonna add him on the list. I'm too tired. The graphics not getting made. Screw it. Let's get into predictions.
He doesn't deserve. Let's go predictions. Come on.
Go on then. Where are we starting? We got Brentford, Man United. That's actually quite a hard one to call, I think.
I mean, a Brentford, the new Fulham, where we just can't call their games. Every week we expect them to turn up, they don't, and then when we're tired of them, they'll win. They'll probably win this home game against Man United. Early kickoff, difficult to call. I'm going to go Brentford 2-1.
Mbuemo hat-trick, 3-0 United.
Oh, sorry, Brentford fans.
No, I don't believe that, but I mean, I can't predict Brentford, so I think that's what we may have to go with. G-Tech early doors, you'd expect them to win it, wouldn't you? And they always have a good one against United. Screw it, I'm in a tired, hallucinogenic mood, so I'm going to go 3-0 United for that one, for some stupid reason. Cool, Chelsea-Brighton, 3 o'clock.
So Brighton versus Brighton, yeah?
You said it, not me. You said it.
Brighton's feeder club, or Brighton's like the place they just get rid of their junk at Chelsea.
I think
it's that meme of Andy from Toy Story, like, I don't want to play with you anymore. You can go to Chelsea.
Brighton are laughing because they've had hundreds of millions off them.
And I guarantee they'll get a result in this one. I'm gonna double up on Brighton 2-2s. They're gonna go Desmond again.
I'm going 2-1 Brighton. I can feel it. Bound to be. Another 3 o'clock. Palace, Liverpool, Selhurst. The 2 unbeaten sides going up against each other.
Yeah.
I will happily take.
Break?
I'll happily take a draw from this, and I think it will be a draw. I think it'll be 1-1. think
I
Saul
think
will
you're
get a
gonna
goal.
get. I think you're gonna get screwed over. It's gonna be 2-1
See, we've been
to
screwed over in
Liverpool.
this fixture at home, especially so many times.
Exactly.
There's the Jota dive. There's the Benteke dive. There's the Ayew red card. Like it just can't keep happening. So that's why I'm going 1-1 draw.
But it will.
Oh, it will.
Oh, but it will. We need you just to clip that. It can't keep happening. He can't keep getting away with it.
Oh, they will, won't they? But yeah,
They
I'm going
will.
1-1. Cool. Leeds Bournemouth. It's an interesting game actually. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a tough one to call. I think I think I'm going to go 1-1. I think both teams will score, but don't. Leeds at home, decent. I think 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-2. I'm going for Desmond on that one instead. I think there's going to be goals in that game for sure. I'll clip that when it's a 0-0 again. City Burnley. It's just hard, isn't it, going to the Etihad? Unfortunately, Burnley fans probably going to go I think 3-1 City. I think Burnley might get a goal there, but I think City are just going to go on a bit of a run at some point in the season.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one for Burnley. I'm going to go 3-0.
Cool. Forest Sunderland, 5:30 on Saturday.
Again, an interesting one. Like, Andrew's got. This is his first home game.
Yeah, because the Swansea one was at the Liberty, wasn't it? And then
and he was at Emirates and then at Burnley. So, like, first home game, I think Forest fans are going to be turning up, wanting to be entertained. They're going to face a tough game against Sunderland. Unfortunately, they've lost Habib Diarra for 2 months due to a groin injury. But I think they're going to turn up. I think they're going to be physical. I think Sunderland are going to get away with a 2-1 win.
Yeah, I think Sunderland are going to win this as well. I'm going to go 3-1. Sorry for us fans, but yeah, I just got a feeling Sunderland are going to stick in the game and get some goals from it. And then the 8 o'clock kickoff, Spurs Wolverhampton. I feel for those Wolverhampton fans having to get back that evening. That's brutal, to be fair. It's hard, man. It's another one. Hopefully for Wolves, I'm going to go for a 0-0, but more realistically, I'm thinking probably 2-0 to Spurs.
Yeah, as much as I don't want to predict a Tottenham win, I just don't see this being the game that Wolves bounce back from unless they turn up like Bournemouth did a couple of weeks ago against Tottenham. But I think Tottenham are going to win this one 2-1.
Yeah, cool. My main hope for that is if Wolves just turn up and shut up shop, but I don't know how long you can really do that in a game at that stadium because it feels massive when you're there. Cool. Then Sunday games, we have Villa Fulham at Villa Park. I think
there's going to be goals. I think that, even from Villa's side, I think there's going to be goals, but I think Fulham are going to ride their form and go and win this 3-2.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I'm thinking probably 3-1 to Fulham. I think they're going to be like just flying high with the results they've had. The late kickoff on Sunday, Newcastle Arsenal. I think this is going to be a very interesting game. Media's definitely going to be hyping this one up big time, and I think it's going to be a Newcastle win. I'm going to go 2-0. I think Arsenal might crumble. It might be a 2-0 win to United.
Usually I'll back Newcastle in this home game against Arsenal. Like I feel like they've done pretty well in recent seasons, but just think Newcastle are still finding themselves a little bit. This is not ready to play a part, so I do just think Arsenal are probably going to squeak past this one and get a 2-1 win.
Nice. Cool. And then Monday night, 8 o'clock, Everton West Ham. Mate, I think this could be a bit of a bloodbath.
Hey, at least they can't ruin my weekend.
I'm going to go. I think this might be the capitulation for Potter. I'm going to go 4-0 Everton.
I mean, it would be poetic justice. Moyes, new stadium.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about the Moyes factor.
Yeah, the Moyes factor. He's going to be wanting this one as much as he'll probably say nice things in the press, like he loved his time and stuff. But behind closed doors, he'll be getting that Everton team ready to go to hound at us. And yeah, I just don't see how we win this one. I think 3-1 Everton.
Yeah, I think that might be a bloodbath. He's got them all in the basement, drinking coffee and taking cocaine. Hitting them. Go get him.
The steroid game. He's just hooked up Jack Grealish to like loads of IVs throughout the week. Like, yes, take them on.
No, he's just been hooked up with Stellas all week. That's what he's been doing. Cool. Okay,
I
nice.
hope he has.
That's it for this week. Please feel free to rate and review the pod. Tell your friends. And we've had this week, we've had a couple of people send voice notes in for us how they felt about their team's performance. Please do the same on our socials, at Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Reddit, at other14fc podcast, and then email those in as well at other14fcpodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, otherwise, Tom, I'll catch you next Tuesday when we'll be going over all those games.
Nice. Cheers, man.
Cheers all.